You are listening to the Hiking Radio Network, where we talk the walk with shows by hikers, about hikers, for everybody.
I'm wondering if you'd go wandering with me through the wilderness and woods to where the winds are blowing free, through the darkness of the night, heading toward the morning.
Welcome to the Jester Section Hiker Podcast, with the spotlight on section hikers.
And I'll spread the word, and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come. And we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods, head over the river and through the woods.
All right, you guys, welcome back for a special evening of the Jester Section Hiker Podcast. And we are, well, I should say, if you guys have been listening to the show, you know I have been fired up about the Appalachian Trail since October of 2022. And I am fired up again tonight because we are bringing you a special edition of the podcast. I'm your host, Julie. I've got these two characters with me. So, Mighty Blue, the crowd has been waiting for you. So, welcome back to the show. And I think I just realized you have not been on since 2020.
I've not been around since 2020, I don't think. No, you could be right, yeah. I was expecting you to be dancing when we came back on, so I was kind of
I was leaving that to you.
but it never really happened.
I was definitely doing the Night at the Roxbury Head Jam while we were going in.
Right,
yeah.
I was moving a bit, and I suddenly wondered to myself, can they see this? And I thought I'd better stop. So I kind of stopped and hang out a bit.
Oh, yeah, they can see it. So, Mighty Blue, welcome back to the show. If you guys don't know, I've mentioned Mighty Blue before. He is, I call him our chief hiking officer of the Hiking Radio Network. So everybody put some fire in the chat for Mighty Blue. Welcome back. And also another character over here, you guys should recognize, hasn't been on for a few episodes. Austin, welcome back.
What's going on, folks? Great to be back.
And you guys, I'm actually just kind of hosting this thing. I mean, we've got Mighty Blue, who is our leader of the Hiking Radio Network. And this evening, you guys are going to hear all of the work that Austin has done to put this video series together. And I think we ought to kick the evening off by giving you guys a little information. And I'm going to turn it over to Steve to kind of explain what this is, why we're here, and really what is the Woods Hole Weekend.
Yeah, well, this was started a couple of years ago. It was before COVID, I think, by Bruce Mattson. And he invited us along to Woods Hole to try to get a bunch of people in to see if we could impart our knowledge about hiking the AT. I mean, I've done it a couple of times. You've done nearly 2 section hike through hikes, and we had Clay, who's done a through hike of the AT. We had Skunkape, who's done a through hike of the AT, and Bruce had done a through hike. So we knew how to do this, and Bruce put together a tremendous program, and I think we all enjoyed it. We had a great time at Woods Hole, which is normally one of the favorite hostels on the trail.
Yeah, it's certainly a fantastic venue. I mean, there is no other. It's fantastic.
Great place. And we kept it going, and this year we did it. And when we were talking about it, I said, why can't we film it? And why can't we get it recorded? Little did I know. See, Austin's starting to laugh now because little did I know
too, Mighty Blue.
Yeah, actually, that's the better way to put it. Little did Austin know how much work it was going to be for one person to be carrying the camera everywhere and doing all the editing. You must have spent hundreds of hours, literally hundreds of hours on this. And what you've come up with is magnificent. You know, I think I'm slightly biased, I guess, because we're all in it. I found myself watching some of it the other day thinking, how did he do that? You know, he's hiking, he's walking backwards with a camera, which isn't the smartest thing to do on the trail, by the way. And it worked. It all worked. And so I think what we've produced is something way beyond what I thought it would be. And I think we really reflected what it's like to be there. And so obviously we give that we give those videos to the people who attended the weekend. And it's been great. Really enjoyed doing it.
And I know we got a couple people who attended the weekend in the chat, and we have several individuals in the chat this evening. So thank you to everyone that is joining us. And the Woods Hole weekend, I've looked forward to that every year since we started that in October. And kind of our tagline for that is, have you ever dreamed of through hiking or section hiking the Appalachian Trail? And what we do over a series of 4 days, it's like this all access pass. We spend time at a couple different hostels. We spend time with each other for 4 days. And by the end of it, everybody's exhausted. But I mean, I'm seriously, this past October, I've been so reinvigorated about the Appalachian Trail and completing my second section hike ever since October. And the ones that did that for me were the participants because of their excitement.
Oh yeah, they were totally into it as well. And in fact, we know that you were actually going to go in the hospital to get your ankle. Yeah. Was it your ankle worked on
my foot
few days later? And when we did the walk to Dismal Falls, that was the longest 2 or 3 miles that you'd ever hiked, wasn't it?
It was, in almost over a year. And I was I'm telling you, I was on the struggle bus nation to make it up to Dismal Falls. It was.
Well, you didn't show it, Jester. You did not show it. I mean, if I had known the amount of pain you were putting yourself through, I would have thrown you on my back, like major props. Like that was impressive.
And you could easily have carried her as well, the way you were carrying everything else around there. So you've been fine.
I would have had to hand a tripod and a camera or two to somebody else to carry, but yeah.
And well, we made it through, and I think Austin, you were there, and Skunkape, who's in the chat, was there with us.
Yep.
He was one of the presenters. I mean, he carried my chair. Yeah, we took chairs up there. He carried my chair. He stayed with me. I think it was an excuse for him because he was out of breath too, but it made me feel better.
Dang, Skunkape, she's calling you out. Man.
So,
that's what the chat's for.
Yeah, so we have a trailer. Do you think it's a good time to go ahead and show everybody the trailer?
Yes, I think so. I think it's
roll
it gives
that beautiful bean footage.
It's a quick summing up of what the weekend was about. It's really good.
All right, so here we go.
Are you ready to turn your dream of thru hiking or section hiking the historic Appalachian Trail into reality? Learn from successful hikers who will answer all your questions and get you prepared and excited for your hike.
When you're doing the trail, you make all sorts of mistakes. I've hiked enough to know what's good, what's bad, what works, what doesn't work. We're going to give the knowledge we've learned to the participants, and with a bit of luck, they'll glean things that make sense to them, and they'll apply those techniques once they get on the trail themselves.
If you are considering hiking the trail, this will give you the push over the edge to do it.
I got a lot of nuggets here. There's a lot of good knowledge, a lot of experience.
I feel like I've been validated and got the confidence that I was looking for.
If this is on your radar screen and you think you want to do it, this will be a great tool for you.
Whether they go out for a day or do the whole thing, I'm hoping that every one of them will feel excited about the Appalachian Trail by the time we're done with this weekend. Just excited that our excitement from having done it, all of us who are presenting, will infect them, and they will have the virus that they will never be able to shake.
What are you going to tell people when you get home?
I want to go hike.
That's pretty cool.
Good
Infected
times.
with the virus. I am never going to forget that. I mean, that just set the stage for me. All that fire inside of me. I was already crying because on the drive there, it was October. The leaves were changing. I knew I was going to be really close to those white blazes. And when Clay said that, I said, "That's my problem. I have been infected with the virus."
Yeah,
as soon as he said it too.
Yeah,
it kind of enthusiasm.
No, go ahead,
it raises your own enthusiasm for the whole trail. It's funny when you actually step away from the trail and you've been away from it for a little while, to go back to be on the trail itself, to be at Woods Hole particularly, and you're amongst other people. We even had a bunch of Southbounders come through, didn't we, on the Saturday night? And Hawk was speaking to us as well, and he's obviously in the video as well. And it was just a terrific get together of people. And one of the things you miss from when you leave the trail is you miss those people. And I've been thinking about this, about the podcast, my podcast and your podcast, Julie. You know, our podcasts allow us to reconnect with people on the trail. I have my fix every week when I put my show out, and I'm sure you feel the same way as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And recently, I've been saying in a past couple episodes, I've been thanking my listeners because they're reigniting me as well. I've been getting some amazing emails. Everybody knows I took a break in the fall to have surgery and then came back. And I didn't realize how many people the show actually affected until I took a break. And people were like, "Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do on Saturday morning." So, you know, it's that part of the trail, like you said, that's with us when we actually can't be on the trail. And, you know, I'd like to hear Austin's perspective because this was the first time, you know, not only did you have a job to do that weekend, but here you are around a bunch of people who are Appalachian Trail enthusiasts, to say the least. And we're at, in my opinion, the best hostel on the Appalachian Trail.
Well, I will definitely stand behind the best hostel. Neville put on an absolutely amazing weekend as a host or hostess. But yeah, it was kind of an interesting experience because I've only, you know, had a handful of steps on the AT. And so I definitely kind of
walking backwards with a camera, by the way.
Yeah.
Right.
I think your pack, Austin, it had to be 75 pounds, 80.
It just looked really heavy, you know, like, but no, I definitely felt like I didn't feel like I was being excluded, but I definitely felt like I came in not knowing something that everybody else knew, if that makes sense. Like everybody else came in with this virus already. And I love hiking, and I love long distance hiking. But I've never really had a lot of experience with the AT specifically. And so it was really a unique experience to just kind of be a fly on the wall and get to listen to everyone and point the camera at people, which I just enjoy doing in general. But kind of catching that virus, like Pony was talking about, catching that virus to go back out hiking again. So yeah,
it was great.
And the food was amazing. The food you can't get through the video series, unfortunately. You'll have to come to the live event. The food was definitely my favorite
Typically,
part,
people
far.
go hiking to lose weight. When you come that weekend, lose some weight before you come because Neville's going to feel it.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she feeds you. She really does. Oh, yeah.
So, Steve, we briefly spoke about a video series, but why specifically did you have this idea? And maybe let's talk about why you wanted to add the video series and maybe who it's for.
Well, the way I thought about it was, first off, Julie, you and I were talking about getting on the trail somewhere or other and just doing, I don't know, going to McAfee Knob and filming ourselves up there or getting Austin to film us and a bunch of other people to film us up there. Then I thought to myself, we're covering so much in this weekend. I mean, there was every piece of information you ever really needed at the Woods Hole weekend that it was something that we felt if we could pull it off. It would be great. I promise you, Austin, I had no idea how difficult it was going to be. I would never have suggested it otherwise. And at the end of the weekend, your arms,
for the record,
your arms must have been about 8 inches thicker all the way around because you were carrying all this stuff. But the idea of a series was originally we were going to put something on, I don't know, is it Thinkific or Teachable and these little videos and stuff like that. And I thought, well, that's okay. But it'd be lovely if we could incorporate what we're going to teach people this weekend. So we talked about the logistics of how it could be done. And we felt, well, Austin felt, and I've got to say, your positivity in all this was just amazing because everything could be handled as far as you were concerned. And so you were filming us. We all had these microphones. We were all
Wait a minute,
wired
Steve,
up
you
and
didn't
so
hear
on.
what I heard behind the scenes, but we won't go into that.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm probably glad I didn't. I'm probably glad I didn't. And then when he got his drone out and started filming us all walking across the bridge, I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be something really special.
Unbelievable.
The original idea was that we'd film this and we'd basically, within a couple of days, give it to the people who attended. But then Austin, being a bit of a perfectionist, I think he'll accept that as a compliment more than anything else. Then he decided we can really make something of this, and he worked so hard to put it together. And I think now what he's produced is fantastic. I mean, I'm biased, obviously, but I think it's tremendous, and it gives somebody whatever question they have, they can go to the video that they may remember if they were there, but if they weren't there, all the videos are so well labeled, you can go from one to another and then click anywhere within that video that you want to hear something specifically, and you can get the answer to that question. That, I think, is the gold that we found there.
Yeah, indeed.
And the real value, just from my perspective, looking at it, because, and this is nothing against any of the presenters, but the things that we do are not rocket science, but we learned, and I say we, the presenters learned from doing. Mighty Blue, you talked about it. I intentionally included that clip of you talking about learning from mistakes in the trailer, because that's where the value is. Because the information, everybody has a different way of doing it. There were 4 presenters that were there that weekend and 4 different ways of approaching things. But what the video series does is it puts it all in one place. So instead of having to go out and search or talk to people and get 18,000 different opinions, it's all in one place. And so that's where the value is. If I'm trying to talk to somebody about, why should they invest in this series? It's because that's where the value is. You've got thousands of miles between all of the presenters, and goodness knows how many weeks, months, years on trail combined, how many nights on trail. And so you got all that experience in one place that you
and
can,
how many mistakes we made as well.
Oh, we tell it all.
Right.
Yeah, well, I regret a few of the things I said out there, to be honest with you. But it was kind of it was raw the way we talked about it. It was conversational, and it was very accessible to people. I think they could understand it. I think I know, and specifically the participants' exit interviews were particularly interesting, because you could see and you could hear how much they took away from it themselves. And we may even have given out some, we may have imparted some knowledge that we didn't even know we were imparting. They just picked up on something we said and really honed in on that as something they could improve in their own prospects for making the hike themselves.
It was great.
Well, and the pack shakedowns too.
Yeah. Ooh,
I heard a lot of people that loved the pack shakedown. So, for reference, some very brave souls that came to participate, volunteered to dump their packs in front of everyone, not literally dump, but unpack their packs and talk about each piece of gear that they had. And then they got critiqued, and, I think everyone identified a piece or more than one piece of gear that yeah, I could probably live without that, or I could do this a little more efficiently or something like that. So I think that's where a lot of the value for folks came from too.
Yeah. And you know what? I loved the way in which they received those conversations. Some things they decide, no, we're going to keep this. This is fine. But all of us went away from the packed shakedowns thinking, oh my gosh, they did a far better job than I did when I first started.
Right? Yes.
I know. I mean, my gear was a nightmare when I first started, but all of them, they'd really packed stuff that they'd really thought of. So they were really, they were very intentional about doing this. And I love the fact that they really, really got into it and they allowed themselves to be critiqued. But really, it was still the choices they made, because no one can tell you how to do this. All we can do is tell you what worked for us and a couple of pointers that might help you as well.
And one of the things I learned, very valuable nugget of gold from the entire weekend, was during that pack shakedown where Pony made a simple statement. He said, do you use this piece of gear? And a lot of times, if I'm asking somebody, I'll say, well, do you think you need it? But he twisted that and said, are you going to use it? And then we started using that analogy with everybody. And when you start thinking, am I really going to use this? Or is this like a comfort item? That is something I learned. And it just goes back to, we may have been the presenters, but we were learning as well.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I've actually packed my pack. I'm going tomorrow morning in about 6 hours time. I'm driving to Georgia to the AT kickoff. And you said you put your sleep gear in your sleeping bag.
Yes.
First time I've ever done that. I packed tonight and I put it in there. I've never done it before. And I've been over a year on the Appalachian Trail.
Yes. I got Mighty Blue to change something.
There you go. Quite right. Yeah.
Well, excellent. So Austin, we alluded to this. So, Austin just left us. Austin's back. The video series, obviously we would love everyone to join us the first weekend in October when we have these live and in person at Woods Hole for the 4 days. And, to me, the series is also for individuals that are on the West Coast or in the middle of the country or overseas that they just can't be in Virginia at the first weekend in October. So this video series allows people to be part of the Woods Hole weekend via the internet is the way I look at it. And when we go over, we're getting ready to show you guys what all this looks like and where you can find all of this information. But before we do that, Austin, tell us how it was to film all that, because it was so much. We've talked about it and it was crazy and you had an 80-pound pack. But when you got back and you downloaded all the video and the audio and we had mics and all this kind of stuff, what were your thoughts?
Approaching it, it was just like, I don't know what to film. And so I'm going to film everything.
Sure.
And I think when we were trying, as a group, because, the five of us met before the weekend to kind of come up with a plan and that kind of thing. And when I walked into it, I had thought I'm going to make, a handful of short tutorial videos out of all of this footage.
Sure.
And so, and I also planned on, making all these cool guy edits for the entrance interviews and the exit interviews. And, we still might do that one day. But it was such a challenge logistically, like just data management, staying organized, cause for every class, so for every video, there's 3 cameras and 4 wireless mics that have to get synced.
And I was in charge of the mics, and I would grab the mics off people and I'd say, Austin, you ready to download the audio? And Austin would be like, yeah, let's do it. And then I would just shove Mighty Blue's mic back on him and make sure it was turned on. And it was fun.
And like, well, I'm glad somebody had fun. No, I'm kidding. But staying organized was the biggest challenge. and making sure that files didn't get mixed up, because it wasn't like, if you download a file from Mighty Blues mic, it doesn't say this is Mighty Blues audio from this class.
Oh my gosh!
It just says DGI 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 or whatever. So staying organized at a hostel. I kind of took over a corner in the bunkhouse. And it was, if you didn't see me holding a camera, it was probably because I was standing in front of the computer, downloading footage, clearing off SD cards, charging batteries, because I had batteries for all the cameras. I had keeping the gimbal charged. It was a huge exercise in logistics for filming. And I walked away with a whole bunch of lessons learned. One, I need a crew.
I guess I'm not good enough.
Oh, no. It was just, I'm kidding. I had a blast.
Yeah.
Absolute blast. And like filming for our little overnight at Woods Hole.
Dismal Falls. We went to Dismal Falls, didn't we?
Dismal Falls.
That was the overnight. And you know what? That was a special evening as well. Mm-hmm. Once again, I don't know how you did that, but that was a special thing. We had the lady from ATC come in to do the Leave No Trace. We had Skunkape setting a fire. Thank God that started. Anyway, it started really well. Well done, Skunkape. And it was just water filtration, all that sort of stuff that you kind of think I've been thinking about this, what it's like to be there at the start of your AT hike. It's daunting. And it's daunting because you think everyone's watching you make mistakes, and yet all they are caring about themselves is how can I get through the next 24 or 48 hours? Yeah. And really, I think it is daunting when you first start, but it becomes very much part of your life when you do it. And I think people will glean from what we told them. This ain't rocket science, but at the same time, there are some better ways to do things than other ways to do things. And some of the things you may have seen on YouTube, well, they may be okay. I think what this does shows people the totality of what it's like to be successful at hiking the AT, because all of us have done that.
And I remember that evening at Dismal Falls, I went and lay down in my tent, and several of you guys were still around the fire. And I just heard like the mumbling of the voices, and then I would hear somebody laugh, and then I would hear the mumbling of the voices again around the fire. And I remember specifically laying in my tent going, I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. And this is the greatest feeling. This is what this is about. That camaraderie, and just even though I wasn't a part of it, I was laughing in my tent when I would hear you guys laugh and stuff. It was great. It's a lot of fun. So should we switch over to the website and kind of show these guys what they need to do to access the video series and give them a visual of what we're talking about?
Sure. Let's go with it.
Yeah, let's talk turkey. So I will man the website here if Mighty Blue, if you kind of just want to walk people through. So this is the hikingradionetwork.com, and this is our main website page. Mighty Blue, I'll have you take it from here.
Right. Well, there's all the shows, and if you look at the top menu, there's all the shows. Then there's our HRN Trading Post store, and then there's the Woods Hole Weekend. And Woods Hole Weekend, as you can see, has got that little arrow, which is the drop downs, and there they all are. And now I'm not sure whether you've actually opened these, because all these are password protected right now, obviously. And what happens is if people want to buy this, then they get everything. Yeah, we'll come to sale in a minute. Just go all the way down quickly.
All the way down to the what's
this is to the trailer. To the trailer. In fact, I think Stella's asked to play the trailer again. So
Stella wants to see the trailer again.
So, okay, in a minute. Yeah. So,
all right, guide me where you want me to go.
Go down to the trailer itself.
Okay.
All right, and there's the Woods Hole Weekend. There's the trailer, and underneath it, as it says, this is just a taste of things to come. Each of our sessions has its own page. You can reach each one by clicking the links below. And I put all the links below. So if you go further down, and go to, I don't know, say go to fire building. Click on fire building, third one down. Password protected.
And I have a secret password.
That's right. And that unlocks first. Oh, that's not good.
And the secret password did not work.
The last 3 letters are capitals. First one's a capital as well.
There we go. See, there's always a glitch. Okay. It was my typing skills.
Our website is fine. It's under this thing called Pod Page, and all our shows are on it, and it's kind of basic in their own way, but this is what it is. And Making the Fire, this is a short video by obviously everything's by Austin, but Paul showing how to light a fire. Thank God it started as well. And then if you then go back to the, can you do back on this one? I'm not really sure. Go to one of the other links. This is where it shows the value. Go to Let's Talk Gear. Oh, and hang on. Have you done it already? Yeah, once again. Now, it's another test for you.
This is testing my typing skills here.
That's right, yeah. Oh, well done. Right.
There we go.
So now go down just a tiny bit to show the first one. Right. And then you'll see all of these now. The first 000, the big 3, we start talking about that. Going down if you're particularly interested in Jester talking about the ULA circuit, you can press on the second one, and then it will take you right to that spot. Then Z-Pack's Art Blast, which is me talking about my pack, and then you can go to that one. So you may or may not want to watch the whole thing all the way through, which is the very top video. In each of them, you can watch it the whole way through if you like. But if you think to yourself, I want to learn about the Z-Packs, and you click on the one that says Z-Packs, and you go straight to that point. Austin did a lot of work embedding all those videos, and it seems to work real well. And I think he's done a great job doing that. And so it goes through everything. So you keep going further down. So once again, Z-Packs Duplex, which was my tent, then single versus double wall tents, which is 29 minutes, 23 seconds. It will just take you there. And you can, as I say, just fast forward on the videos themselves. But there's a lot of different ways in which you can see each of us have talked about the sorts of gear that we have and why it works for us. Remember this. Everybody should know this. You have to listen to these conversations and realize what we're saying may not be for you, but what we're saying hopefully will give you some ideas that something may well be for you. But that's how it works.
And one of the things we should say, which is another reason to get this, it's not just us talking about the tents. We actually went up, and each one of these tents was set up and on display, and we went into deep detail about each one of these models, which I think is really cool.
Yes, I quite agree. So, I think it looks good. Can you play one of the participant exit interviews?
Yeah.
See what they thought of it.
Sean is in the chat. Maybe we should do Sean.
Yeah, Sean, we're going to put you on blast. I might have to type in the secret password again.
There you go. No pressure, Julie.
No, I'm like sweating here. Yeah. So let's go to.
Okay.
Sean's probably the last one. Nope, there's Sean right there. And now, fingers crossed, this will pull up.
Sean, Livonia, New York. What an empowering weekend it was. I mean, everybody had done all their own research. They'd listen to podcasts, watch YouTube, done whatever to get ready. But to come out here and become verified is just so empowering to make you feel like, hey, I can do this. And it was just so good to not just feel it myself, but see it in the other people that were in the group. And then meeting all these hikers that come through, that was just awesome, to just how it all just came together to be an encouragement to everyone that was here.
Is there one nugget you think you'll walk away with?
Yes. yesterday, when you said something about using hostels to park your car, take shuttles and walk to, it seems like such a small thing, but I was like, I never thought of that. I'm sitting there thinking about, my wife is very willing to help me pursue this, but I also don't want to say, okay, drive me 6 hours and then pick me up someplace else and drive another 6 hours, if there's another option. And it's like, wow, that helped. It seems small to some people, but when you're trying to take care of your family at home, I thought that was an amazing tidbit of information that's going to be a big help for me.
What are you going to tell people when you get home about this weekend?
I don't know yet. I mean, they're going to ask me, what'd you do, those types of things, but it's going to probably be based upon how interested they are, because you hear about people, they do the hike and they talk about it, and after they get done, and then it's like everybody gets sick of it. So I want to be able to encourage people to want to continue to talk to me about it without boring them. But at the same time, I do want them to know, hey, this is my plan. This is what I want to do. I really want to pursue this. And I know that everyone in my family and those that surround me are very encouraging in that. They see it as something that's a passion that they can support. And so, yes, I'll just talk to them about things that help keep their interest, the same way how I help my wife gain interest by vacationing in some of these areas that I'm going to get to see, as I hike through, bring her places. Yeah. So
you never know. She might surprise you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, I'm fired up already again.
I just want to tell you,
that's what I'm talking about.
So people know, if you look at the way it is right now, don't move it. Go back to where that was. If you hover it over there, you can see on the bottom right-hand side, you can expand it to full screen. And that's obviously pretty important to do that, because you get the picture's in great quality anyway. And you can get that full screen on either your computer, your tablet, or even on your mobile phone. It's not quite perfect for the mobile phone yet. You're probably best to turn it sideways, landscape, to get the full effect for the mobile phone. But they're well worth expanding the size of them to watch them when you actually get into those questions.
All right. What else do we want to show them? Do we want to go? Let me know when we need to go back to them. Two
things. Right. I think what we should say is, if people do want to buy this, which is just which is what all our guests are going to get for free, the guests who are at the Woods Hole weekend, they'll get this as part of their Woods Hole weekend. When we talked about this the other day, some of this information is so evergreen that really we're not going to be changing it. But we're going to go to the Woods Hole weekend again in 2023, and we're going to give people access to the videos as well. And we're going to film some more stuff. Austin and his crew are going to film some more stuff. And
that means Austin, Julie.
That's right, yeah. and you're going to do it, and we will add that in, and that will become part of it. So if once you've bought it, you get that forever. So if we keep doing the Woods Hole weekend, you'll get more and more stuff as time goes on. Now, we did talk about the price, and the price, I say, literally, there's hundreds of hours of work's gone into this, and for some reason, all these prices end in a 7, and our price was going to be $297. But we decided for the first, 12, 13 days till the 15th of March, we were going to reduce it by $100 to $197 until the 15th of March. And then from then, it's going to be $297. Going forward, it's going to be $297. And as I say, we're going to, once you've got that membership, you'll receive from us an email with your password, which we try not to screw up, and make sure that you can get access to it whenever you wish. And obviously, you can reach out to me, Julie, or Austin. So if you've got any problems with it, we'll talk you through it. But that's basically the deal. $197 until the March 15th. You can pay by PayPal or Venmo, and it's fine. I'm actually going to this main page is password protected right now. I'm going to get rid of the password on that, and I'm going to so allow people access to the Woods Hole weekend. This page, and then the others will then, if they do decide to buy it, they'll get access to all the others as well.
So yeah, so when you guys go to the website, hikingradionetwork.com, we'll just go back up to the top here. And when you first log into the website, you will see all of our podcasts that are on the Hiking Radio Network. You'll see our store that Steve mentioned. And then the main thing, if you're looking for the Woods Hole Weekend, you will click on the Woods Hole Weekend. And as Steve just said, you'll click on this very first drop down that says Woods Hole Weekend. And then that will give you access to the pricing, the PayPal, and then you will also have access to the trailer. And then you will be able to see everything else. But as you guys saw earlier, you won't be able to click on any of these other videos unless you purchase a series. They're password protected.
Yeah, I remember some of these films are more than an hour long. So, I think it's 13 or 14 hours, something like that. I can't quite remember exactly what it is, but it's an extensive amount of film and a lot of information out there. So I got to tell you, I know I'm biased, but I think we did a great job. I think we did a great job that weekend, and I think Austin's done a great job capturing it, because you captured so much good stuff in the weekend, and I'm really, I couldn't be more proud than I am of what we're putting out there, and I think it's great value for people. Because let's face it, if you spend $1,000 a month on the trail, well, it's a couple of weeks worth on the trail, so it's probably not that bad.
Yeah. Yeah. And Sean said that he would pay double what he paid. So there you go. That solidified everything for me.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Sean.
So we did have one question from Ian. I answered it in the chat. He said, do you buy each one? Can you buy each one? Or is it a total package? And it's a total package.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it is. Yes, that's what it is. So,
I'm scrolling through right now to see if there are any other questions in the chat. So if you guys have questions, put them in the chat for us. And Mighty Blue, you were getting ready to say something, and I'll look for questions as you're chatting.
Well, no, what I was going to say was I'm about to fall asleep. Only because I'm getting up in about 4 hours time now, or something like that.
Yes, you need to go.
No,
we need to wrap this up. So
I'm fine.
Yeah. Oh, and again, if you guys are going to be at the kickoff, go see Mighty Blue. When are you giving your deal on Sunday?
Oh, yeah, 10:30 Sunday morning.
Excellent.
So if you're going to be down there, and I'm going to be there from tomorrow, I'll be sleeping in the tent city tomorrow night because I'm too cheap to cough up for the lodge. But I'm staying in the lodge on the Saturday night, so I can have a shower before I actually present. So
yes, please do.
I smell fairly reasonable.
Excellent. So, Austin, any parting thoughts or final thoughts?
Just, I think, asking about, for some, it could be considered a sticker shock. And the way I look at it is, well, how much do we spend on gear, for instance? I think about how much money I have spent on gear that I don't use anymore because I realized it's junk or it's not going to work or whatever. And so, in a way, this can kind of help focus you on, especially if you're just starting out, this can focus you in the right direction, of where you need to be thinking as far as purchasing other things. And it could, in theory, save you money in the long run. Plus, it's just, I think some of the, all of the knowledge that we've got in this series, it's priceless in my books. With everything that all the presenters said, there's stuff that you just can't buy any other way. You can't get it any other way. So.
Well, we've got a comment, and I want to recognize Brian, who is a fellow charlatan. He has Brian, and I'm not sure you know this, Mighty Blue. He is or has been listening to your show. Brian and I have met in person. He's one of your original listeners.
Great.
So Brian Alsop, he's in the chat.
I apologize for those early episodes, Brian. Sorry.
He says, really well done. Great job putting all this together and great job filming it all, Austin. And then he also says, to him, it seems like a bargain with all the incredible knowledge shared. So we really appreciate that, Brian. And he's also just said he's listened to every single minute of every single episode of both of your podcasts. Oh, well, thank you, Brian.
Yes, have I.
Love it.
And I see Steve Adams, which is Dana, in the chat. So she says very good points, Austin. So you guys, I don't see any more questions in the chat. I really appreciate each and every one of you that showed up to hear about this. We're excited about it. Mighty Blue has got to go to bed so he can get up and head to the AT kickoff. As always, you guys, thanks for listening. Be safe out there and happy section hiking.
I'm wondering if you'd go wandering with me through the wilderness and woods to where the winds are blowing free, through the darkness of the night, heading toward the morning light. I wonder if you'd wander with me, and I'll spread the word and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come, and we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods, head over the river and through the woods. You're wondering if I go wandering with you, what kind of trouble we'll get ourselves into. Would it be wrong to tag along with a band of vagabonds? You wonder if I'd wander with you. So I'll spread the word and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come, and we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods, head over the river. I'm wondering if you'd come wandering my way, if you ever get lost or if the trail leads you astray. The music of the pack can always bring you back. I wonder, can we wander away? And I'll spread the word